Hey guys, Dawn Master here. Beautiful Saturday evening. Actually hit 65 degrees today, and the frogs are doing their thing right now. It's evening. But today, very minimal purchase, but I seen these at the big box store, and Klein tools, long nose wire stripper crimpers, and they're made in USA. And they cut, crimp, and loop. They got the insulated crimping part, and then the two different sizes, non-insulated, and it'll do 12 to 22 gauge. And then it's got the grabbers up here. Very nice. And the other thing I like is how cushiony these grips are. So you can't really feel them because you're just watching the video, but they go in really nice. They feel really good. They're more cushiony than the snap-on handles, in my opinion. So they're very similar to these old, probably 20-year-old Kleins I bought used. Same nice cushion grip. And yeah, Klein, they're known for electricians' tools, but there's nothing wrong with using them as a mechanic. I think they make wonderful stuff. And if you can save money and go this route, then do it. Because for 20 bucks, this will get a lot done and save you from buying a lot of other stuff. So the difference between these two is this one doesn't have the crimpers. See, no crimpers. And this one's spring-loaded with a lock. So I believe you can still purchase these. But I'm not a fan of the spring-loaded ones. I like the non-spring-loaded. But yeah, they're nice. Let me get them out. So here they are out of the box, and super nice. They kind of have a detent feeling to them, but really nice cushion grip. Like I feel like you can probably get some good leverage on these and squeeze your crimp. And they got pretty good teeth on the end there. But I think they'll be a good all-purpose unit for doing trailer work and stuff around the house. And I'm actually going to bring them to work on Monday and test them out instead of my the snap-ons I normally use. I'm just going to see how they compare. The snap-on ones I have aren't with me right now, but I have these Carlisles that are the most similar I could find at home, and these were about 35 bucks at Napa, I think, and they're over a year old, maybe 2, and they're starting to rust because they stay in my car, in my tool, my electrical kit I keep in my trunk. So a little bit of moisture, but what can you do? I'll probably spray them down with something. Speaking of that, let me grab my spray, show you what I use that's been working good for me. No, it's not Super Lube. It's something else for lubrication and anti-corrosion. So, not sure if any of you guys use this. Let me know if you have, but it's the Blaster Multi-Max, and it's a synthetic multi-use lubricant. And it's liquid, but it's kind of got a thickness to it, an oily texture. Displaces moisture, stops squeaks, protects against corrosion, long-lasting lubrication, odorless formula. So I've been using this on my tools, and I'll tell you what, it works really good. Blaster makes good stuff, and I put it in some ratchets, the fine tooth ratchets. This stuff works good because it's not thick. It's not like a grease. It's more of a thinner lubricant. So that's a good one to use. But yeah, the Carlisles here, I don't think there's a part number, but these have been pretty good. The snap-on ones are much nicer, with the handles are more comfortable, but these do work. These, by the way, the part number is a 1009. Nice gray grips, really nice feeling to them. And Home Depot has a good selection for Klein tools. They got bolt cutters, or big cable cutters, small cable cutters, really nice diagonal side cutters. I was looking for the 9-inch, the big side cutters that are about $40, and they're super nice. I have the 7 or 8-inch ones from Klein that have just been flawless. I beat the crap out of them and they just don't get dull. I bought these from Klein about a year and a half ago or so. These are made in USA also. They're just flush cuts. Nice quick little flush cuts that I keep at home. And they stay pretty sharp. These are Klein tools D2755, and it says 16 gauge max. I use them for zip ties and trim my fingernails up here and there, and then these I got at Fred Meyer. I was in a pinch. I needed something. They're GB, I think Gardner Bauer or something. I forget, but I don't like this style with the spring. They kind of annoy me when you put them in a tool bag or something. They just kind of take up a lot of space with no lock on them. So those I'll probably give to someone. And then these, I haven't brought them to work. I've been keeping these at home, and I've had them for a while. And these are really nice. They come in this nice belt clip. These are the Mac Tools SS6E. They're electrician scissors. And really smooth cutters on them. Really sharp too. Made in Taiwan, not USA, but good quality, not China. And they got 3 different sizes, so if you're in a pinch and you don't feel like walking back to grab your wire strippers, you can use these. It's 12, 14, and 16 gauge wire stripper as well. And it's even got wire crimper here too. If you can see that right there, that's a crimper. So you can actually crimp a butt connector in a pinch. I don't know how well it'll work because it's going down into plastic there, but hey, it might work in a certain situation. So that was the tool I got today, and we'll put these back in their holder. And then I wanted to grab that torque wrench that I picked up earlier this week. Got to use it 3 times already this week. Trying to use as much as I can to give you guys a good first impression on it, kind of a quick review. So let me go grab that. So that was the Cornwell quarter drive inch-pounds torque wrench. I picked this up Monday, had my Cornwell dealer order it in, and if you're on the market for a quarter drive torque wrench and you don't want to spend over $200, like you're thinking more in the $100 to $150 range, go with this one before the sale ends, because it's normally $280, I think. And I got it on sale for $159 through my Cornwell dealer. He's a pretty cool guy, and he ordered one for me. And I'm really happy with it. I really like the knurled handle. It's very aggressive, but it's not too aggressive where it's annoying. It feels perfect. I can't express how smooth this is. Like, this is just so smooth. Like, honest to God, for not being USA and not being $350, it's probably smoother than some of the more expensive torque wrenches, in my opinion, because I do have some really expensive torque wrenches and they're not this smooth. And it's a sealed head design. The minus to this is it doesn't say on or off up here, but that's not a necessity, That's not something I think that you have to have. You just got to know what direction you're going. But it says Cornwell there, and I used it multiple times this week for my job, and I had to replace a transmission fluid temperature sensor on a 2005 Ford F350. So I had to drop the pan. I didn't have to drop the valve body. And then the sensor was in there, mounted up in the valve body. And I grabbed it because I thought there was going to be a bolt that held the sensor in, but it's just an O-ring, basically, that holds the sensor in place with a plastic clip. But I went ahead and used this to torque the tranny pan bolts. And they're calling for 10 foot-pounds, Ford is. So this isn't in foot-pounds, so you kind of have to do the math. There's 12 inch-pounds in 1 foot-pound, so 10 times 12 is 120. So you just set this to 120. That gives you 10 foot-pounds. And I went around after putting all the bolts in with my mini impact on the lowest setting, basically till it met flush. Barely tight at all. And then I went around with this one. I went around twice and torqued them down with this. And very satisfying to use, honestly. For the price and it not being USA, I'm really happy with it. It's one of my favorite torque wrenches to use now, just because of how smooth it is. My 3/8 drive snap-on, it's an older model, so it's not the fine tooth, and it works good, but it's nice being able to get that extra few clicks in tight spots. But anyway, this is like, I really like this torque wrench, so I'm thinking in the future if I need to buy another torque wrench, I think it might be Cornwell, because for the price, you can't beat it. Wait for it to go on sale in the flyer, and I could probably get a 3/8 drive version of this. If it goes up to 100 foot-pounds, they probably got them for $200. I don't know, maybe in a flyer. So anyway, that's what I have to say about this. And then I did a tranny service on a truck on Tuesday, the day after I bought this torque wrench, and I went ahead and used it. Someone's like, "Are you seriously torquing those? Like, just tighten them up." And I'm like, "No, I want to tighten them to spec, because it's a brand new truck." Well, it was a 2021 Ford F350 Platinum, really nice truck, and I'm like, "No, I want to use the torque wrench, because this is the first time the pan's ever been off. I'm going to put them all in hand tight, and then I'm going to torque them to spec." And he's just like, "Whatever, waste of time." I'm like, "No, to me it's not. I can still do it fairly fast." So then I don't risk bending the oil pan, over tightening it, stripping threads out. So that's where this little guy comes in handy. So far I've only used it for tranny services or retorquing pan bolts, but I'm sure there's a lot of other uses for it that I'll be doing. And so it's got inch pounds, and then you flip it around, you got newton meters, which is nice because a lot of vehicles give you NM, newton meters, like a lot of the Fords Power Strokes. That's what they say on like their oil filter and fuel filter caps is newton meters. So you could just pull this guy out and do it. The collar's really nice. It slides back like that. Really nice spring. It's not too hard, not too easy. And yeah, it worked great. And on the back here, it's just the same satin kind of finish as this. So it's got the Iron Man on the head, but for $160, I'm really happy with it, and I highly recommend it. I've only had it for a week, so I can't tell you it's going to be the most reliable unit, but I'm confident that it'll last me a while. So a lot of the stuff coming out of Taiwan has been pretty good. So anyway, let's grab a Cornwell socket and put it on that. There's an old Cornwell 1/2 inch socket. Very minimal back drag. Just barely turn it. They say it's a 72 tooth, but it almost feels like a 90. I'll have to count it. sometime. So anyway, that's that. And then I just want to bring out the thin wrenches and just get a closer look at those. And then here's those metric thin wrenches I got Thursday from my Mac dealer. He's awesome. He let me trade in my Vim ones, and he basically gave me full money back for them to take off of these. I think these metric ones are like $250, and he basically took, I think $100 is what I paid for the Vim ones. He took that off, so these were like, I think $150 after trading in the Vims, which I really didn't like. Yeah, they got the goofy plastic cover, and then the tray, which I'm not too worried about. I like that classic tray. And I already showed you guys this on the Mac Tools Thursday video. Really nice, 10 to 19, and I already have a pretty good amount of experience with these, a few months or longer, on the SAE set that is not brand new anymore. They're getting scratched up because they get used. And this SAE set is quite a bit more money than this set because it is not a 5-piece set. It is a 6-piece set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these wrenches alone are pretty expensive. So I think this set was over $300. I don't know, somewhere in then. The bigger ones get pricey, but I've used this one. I think I've used almost all of these. But the SAE ones, man, even nowadays they come handy. Changing air fittings. But what I really found them being useful for is working on a 7.3 Power Stroke, having to remove the fuel filter housing in the valley of the motor, and taking fuel lines off and stuff. Man, these come really handy. When you're trying to hold the fuel fitting that's in the housing, you got to hold that with a wrench sometimes, because when you loosen the actual line fitting, it wants to spin the fitting with it, and sometimes our regular wrenches are too fat and they slide over the fitting and the flare fitting on the actual fuel line. So these come really handy, and once you break it loose, then you can just use the thin wrench to spin it the rest of the way off, and it seems to actually go faster, because when you're going between a bunch of wire looms and a bunch of crap, the thicker wrenches, sometimes they hang up on stuff and they get in the way. I've realized these thin wrenches, they get in between stuff very easily, or easier than your standard thickness wrenches. And I wouldn't say that about the Vims or the Capris. I'm not saying they're garbage, but if you compare them, I don't have them sitting here now, but you can go online and look. The Vims or the Capris, they have like that big lobster claw, and that can get in the way, in my opinion, if you're trying to get down and hold a fitting in a tighter spot, and the 7/16 say end is twice the size, and it sticks out like that. You might not be able to get in there. So what's the point? I don't know. And they just look goofy, and the edges are sharp on them, at least the Vims. These ones are just great. I mean, for the money, I would do it again 100 times. The Snap-on ones are really comparable to these, but the Snap-on ones, I believe, are more expensive. So that's why I went with the Mac. And my Mac dealer, he's great, and he can get me whatever I want, and he gives me good deals. And if I don't like something, he'll give me my money back, or he'll let me trade up for the better one. So that's why I went with Mac on these. And the SAE goes all the way down to a 5/16. That little bitty guy. But anyway, a little long on the video here. I'm not sure why this set didn't come with a tag. when I got it, it was wrapped. It had the plastic cover and it was wrapped, but it didn't have a tag in there, surprisingly. Just this set did. And he got 3 of these metric sets from Tool Fair, believe it or not. And they had been on his truck for a few weeks, actually, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm like, man, those are nice. You got the USA thin wrenches, huh? He's like, yeah, I just got those from Tool Fair. Figured someone would want them. I'm like, yeah, I want them. But he knew I hadn't been buying stuff much because I bought a lot of stuff a while back, and I take a break. That's what I do. I buy a bunch of stuff, take a break. Buy a bunch of stuff, take a break. Like when I bought these was probably 6 months ago, and he didn't stock them, so he ordered them for me. And then when I saw these on there, a few weeks ago, I was like, eyeballing them. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm done with these Vims. I don't like them. These are way better. I want the matching set and metric. And he's like, I'll do it. I'll give you the money back for them. Put them towards these. So anyway, don't want to take more of your guys' time up. Made this video a little longer, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you like, and have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for watching.